Hello everybody, it's Mary with Stamps-N-Lingers, and it is Thursday at 1 Eastern Time, which means it is time for a Facebook video. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be Facebook today, so we're going to go with that like that's a thing. You'll be glad to know, or you won't care one way or the other, but you'll be glad to know the well folks are out. I'm listening to their machine right now, so with any luck, the well will be hooked up today, and by tomorrow evening, we'll have actual water that comes out of the faucets, which would be lovely, and that we can actually use because we're not worried about it being contaminated. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I have a card. This is one, it was a requested card, and I hope it will answer the mail. My mom has a friend that's moving to Florida from Colorado, and she asked for a tropical themed card as a congratulations on their new home. Hey, Brooke. I really didn't have any new home things, so I went with congratulations and wishing you a sun-kissed nose and standy toes. And that is from the new Sunkissed stamp set. So I've used it. I've used the Tropical Hideaway background set, and then I've used a sentiment Right Quick Like a Bunny from Charming Sentiments. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Everything should be on my blog tomorrow if things go as planned. I'll be blogging from the hotel room tonight, one more night in the hotel, and hopefully this will be our last night. All right, so let's get going. I'm going to build this on a thick basic white card base here. So let me give that another little push. But I'm going to make the card front as a separate piece. So what it's going to do is it's going to be the same size as the front of my card. And in theory, except that really isn't, is it? Hang on. I think I must have a different one. Hang on. I know the problem with using all white cardstock is it's a little hard to keep track. Okay, there we go. That one looks all better. Let's use this one. Hey, Marva. Hi, Neoka. Hi, Margaret and Bree and Faith. Thank you. And hello. Appreciate you guys coming. All right. So as with most background stamps, you will be the happiest if you pull out your Stampopotamus. And that is what I have done. So I'm actually going to use two of my panels today, my acrylic panels. And we're going to start with this one right here. I believe that's where this is lined up for. Maybe not. No. Okay. You'll have to excuse me, guys. I'm just the tiniest bit scattered today. Sorry. All right. We're going to get that in space. Look at that. I have brand new magnets, and I am determined to break one just before I've even used it hardly at all. All right. We're going to put it right there. And I'm going to use a little bit of repositionable tape runner to help hold that in place, because the other thing about a background stamp is it's really hard to use your magnets because it takes up the whole piece of cardstock. The really, really hard part about that is finding enough places to put the magnets that you don't get them whacked together like that. All right, so I'm going to start, and I'm going to do a different technique. Before I have used, sponge daubers or a blending brush, so I wanted to try something a little different. So really what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pat with my ink pad. And the first one I'm starting with is Granny Apple Green. And I'm just going to give that a rub. And I'm going to use this brand new tool I've got, thanks to my friend Kathy. And hey, Linda, appreciate you coming, and Pam and Carol. This is called a Stampendable, and it's really just I actually think it's based on an error hockey table. This would be what you'd hold. It's got a little felt pad, and you can just use it to rub on your stamp. So you can see I've got some ink started there. Yeah, Gail, as I said that, I was like, they're all going to be like, yeah, because that's different how? And so now I'm just going to take my Garden Green and tap it around on there. I don't really worry too much about any ink passing over between the two things, because by the time you ink it off onto the cardstock, you really don't have a lot of ink left on your pad. Okay, so we've got our image here. I'm going to pull this off. Looks like it might have wiggled a little bit. That's okay. That's okay. Oh, hey, Donna. I see. I gotcha. A little bit of multitasking. I like it. So then what I thought would be fun would be to take my light Granny Apple Green blend And I'm just going to color just this one kind of leaf, this particular cultivar right here. I just made that up. I don't know if that would be called a cultivar, but it's a leaf, and it's all the ones that look like this. So I'm just coloring that up. That'll keep it a little bit colored, but not too much colored. A little bit'll do you, right? And I actually used quite a few greens on this card. And I'm going to cover this, but I'm going to color it just, just in case. I used a few greens, and I thought to myself, that's okay, because there are a lot of greens all mishmashed together in nature, and in particular in a tropical setting. So I was not concerned about that. Usually I'd be like all matchy and going, oh my goodness, I used mossy meadow and garden green. Oh, fail. But no, I think it's actually pretty good. I like it. Also, I personally believe palm trees are mossy meadow, but that's just me. What do I know? I'll give this one another little touch here. And that is all I am coloring on this. That's it. So now I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to my card base. Hey, Debbie, appreciate you joining. And Shirley and Denise, hello. Air hockey, there it is, Melissa. That was the word I was looking for. All right, so we're going to use a little bit of liquid glue here. Remember, liquid glue squishes, which is both a good thing and a bad thing, right? So you got to be a little bit circumspect with it, but you also want it to be squishing out a little bit, because that's why you don't need to use a whole lot. Okay, so I'm going to put that on like that, make sure it's good and adhered. And I've got a little bit of overlap or extra lap, or however you want to look at it. So I'm going to go ahead and trim that off. And to do that, I'll just put the fold right at the 5.5 inch mark on my trimmer, and then give that a quick cut. And boom, chakalaka, we have a tropical card front. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, I know it's very pretty just by itself. I really like this background stamp. I think it's my newfound love for Maui. All right, so now I'm going to trade out and put my second panel on, and this is going to have already, you'll see, the palm tree image from the Sunkissed stamp set. Okay, so for that, let me find that other piece of, surely I had another piece of white. So let's see, this is for the inside. Okay, here we go. And I'm going to just put this on, and this one I can use some magnets on. Because I really don't want this to move, because we're going to use marker to rubber. Where did I put all those magnets? Oh, there's one. Okay. Magnets everywhere, and none to use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use kind of a plethora of Stampin' Right markers, and I'm going to color the actual ink stamp set. Yes, I just got these lips today. I'm going to color the actual stamp, the rubber, with my markers, and then I'm going to stamp and stamp and stamp and stamp, just like that. Hey, Carol. So we'll start with some, I'm going to use my Tahitian Tide to make some water here like this. And then we'll stamp. Okay. Looks pretty bad like that, right? Then I'm going to use a little Misty Moonlight. Nope. Starry Sky. Now this is some very tropical water, I think. Very blue. It actually kind of, when I first stamped it, it was like, oh, that looks like the water in the Mediterranean looked. Which was different than I planned on, but it works out. And then I think I'll pull... On my sample, I used a little bit of my Balmy Blue Stampin' Right marker just to color the image. But let's try something different here, since, we're here. We're here. I'm going to color the ocean now over the top of all of the image with my Balmy Blue Stampin' Right marker. Hey, Vicky, appreciate you coming. Okay, so I'm going to leave that for just a second and go ahead and get the go ahead and lay in the tropical trees here. So I have my soft suede marker, and I'm just going to color the trunks like so. I really enjoy doing this kind of coloring because I like being able to give images like this different colors, and you can't always do that very easily with an ink pad. Okay, so now I have my Sahara sand marker for obvious reasons. It's sand, and I'm going to color the sand here with this marker, and then I'm probably going to bring in a little crumb cake. Yeah, definitely going to bring in a little crumb cake. Where are you, crumb cake? Here we go. And this image actually has some grass on it. So I thought it would be fun to put a little grass on, but then when I did it, I didn't love it. So I may not do that again on this one. Put a little here because I got some gaps. I got some sandy gaps right there. There we go. Now it's starting to look like sand, right? Sure. Say yes, Mary. Of course it's looking like sand. Hello. Hey, Denise, the weather here is hot and muggy. It is like a stinking sauna outside. I feel bad for my husband because he is just really bussing it out there, and it is hot. It is really, really hot. All right. So actually, I think I must have used, the reason I think I must have used Old Olive. Let me look at my image again. I'm going to put some Old Olive on here and see what we get. We'll just see what we get. Palm trees could also be Old Olive. Old Olive is like the kissing cousin of Mossy Meadow, right? We always put Mossy Meadow, or I do. I like to put Mossy Meadow and Old Olive together very much. So we'll see what we get here. Well, obviously it wasn't Mossy Meadow, or it wasn't Old Olive, it was Mossy Meadow. So why did I have that out? This is the question it's a question for the ages, right? It's just a question for the ages. So I'm just going to fill in a few spots. I'm not going to do the whole thing, but I'm just going to add some coloration. That's my technical word for artistic things. I'm adding some coloration and some movement. I don't even know what that means when people say it adds movement. Okay. But it's paper, so, you know, it's not really moving. I'm just throwing that out there for you. It's not really moving. All right. This one may be one of those ones that I turn over because I'm not convinced I love it right now. It's not turning out the way my first one did, so we're going to see if I can fix it or whether I have to abort. So I think the way I'm going to fix it is to color more of this one with some more Old Mossy Meadow. Let's see what we get. Gotta love the Stampin'. There we go. Now we're talking turkey. All right, so let's see. I want to color that right in there a little bit. Okay. Yep, the Stamparatus is why you can do this right here. All right, so I believe that is my image. Let me just cross-check it. And I think I am going to go ahead and do the... Oh, thank you, Carol. I am going to use my Balmy Blue, the light Balmy Blue blend, and just give that a little touch right in here, just to make it pretty. It's my happy little ocean. I can do whatever I want with it. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to take this off and put this aside. And I'm going to pull out my deckled rectangles, one of my very favoriteest things ever, when I can find it again. It appears to have disappeared. Hang on. Wait one. Good Lord. How do you lose an entire die set in the time it took me? Never mind. Okay, so I'm going to use 2 deckled rectangles, okay? The first one is going to be this small one, and I'm going to use it to cut out this image. So let me go ahead and do that off camera. Just 1 second. Now, this would actually fit. It does actually fit in the mini cutter, but I don't have the magnetic plate, and so I don't want to do it where you can see in case I screw up. Just saying. There you go. All right. So here's my image. Then I got this idea that it would be fun to have a frame. right? I know, Belinda, it is awesome. Secret yearning for Hawaii. Yes, indeed. So I decided to make a frame. So this is what I did. I cut out, actually, what I did first was I cut out a piece of the larger one, and I didn't like how that looked. So then I thought, well, maybe what if I cut out the middle? Actually, it was a total accident. I thought, well, I'm just going to make it the same size because my idea was I was going to angle it behind it. And I didn't like that either. So I cut out, I said, well, I'll just make a smaller one. And so I cut it right out of the middle of that bigger one like that, accidentally. I mean, I didn't do it on purpose. It was just, that was what I had. And I thought, well, I'll just, you know, conserve my cardstock. And when I did that, it created a frame. So I'm going to do that now, and we're going to make us a little frame for our picture, our little picture. And I will show you the thought process that ends up that you're going to have to, you know, think of when you do this. But it's pretty darn easy. And here we go. All right. Okay, so when you do that, you end up with a frame that has the decaling. That's the technical term right there. It has the decaling on it, right? So this will now fit right inside here. But here's a newsflash. It will only fit one way, okay? If you turn the frame the other way, then the decals don't match up. And you don't want unmatched decals. Nobody wants that. But this is the correct way. So what I did is I turned it over and I made sure that the little white panel was down inside the frame. And then I used my dimensionals as glue. So I put a dimensional in each corner to start with. Like that. Okay, I gotta get a drink. The corollary of not having water in the house is every time you go to the bathroom, you have to think that through, right? So, yeah. I've been trying to not drink as much as usual, which is not really great when it's 100. It's not 100. It's like only 95. Okay, so really what I'm doing is I'm just going around the edges and stitching the frame to the art panel, right? Which gives the added benefit of also giving plenty of dimensionalized support, but I'm also going to do this as well because you really can't have too many dimensionals. Too many dimensionals is not an actual phrase. That's just not a thing. Why is that got all of that on there? Well, that's not good. That is not good right there. Okay, I'm going to have to play with that. So we'll see. You're going to get to see some on-the-fly stuff going on. On the fly. It's going to be on the fly. Let me see if I'm going to be able to fix that before I adhere anything to it. Okay, so just 1 second. Well, have you ever heard the phrase, some days there are knots in the floss? So have you ever tried to floss your teeth with knotted floss? It doesn't really work, and it slows everything down, and it just makes life difficult. So that's what we got here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a piece of cardstock, basic white cardstock, at 4 1/4 and 5 1/2. And we're just going to make that be the inside of this card. Yep, I can make that work. I can make that work. Yes, I can. You see, necessity is the mother of invention. I don't know who said that, but they were so right. Now, if that was just a regular old card front, well, really what should have happened is I should have seen this problem before I adhered that to the front of the card. But I didn't, so now I am punting a little bit because I don't want to have to remake that before you guys, you guys are going to be like, hello, we've got other stuff to do. Also, I have other stuff to do. Let's just be real about that. Okay, so now I'm going to get my trimmer and trim that little edge. And this will be a nice substantial card. By which I mean really substantial. Okay, but that's all right. And we're just going to trim that little piece off. And look, it's like it never happened. Just like it never happened. Yeah. Thanks, Heidi. Punting is my life. All right. Okay. So now we have this, and all I'm going to do is take my highly dimensionalized art and frame and adhere it to the front. And then we're going to put a sentiment on that you'll be glad to know I have already cut out, so we don't have to go through that, because at the rate I'm going, there's no telling how many times it would take me to get it right. Right? Well, I hear the equipment moving outside. That's the bobcat, I can tell. Wayne is having a bit of a hard time being the customer. He's so used to having to do all the work himself that he's right out there helping, which I'm certain they like, but there's part of me that's like, hello, they're still charging us, just saying. Okay, so now I'm gonna just center this up in on the front of the card. Also, it's like almost 100 and he is not 30 anymore. So I kind of wish he would come in and not try to kill himself, because I just really think a stroke, I don't know, would the insurance put that as part of the lightning strike? I don't know. These are things I do not know the answer to. Okay, I digress. I'm going to take a little bit of Stampin' Seal and put it right here. And then I'm going to take some Parakeet Party twine. I love the Parakeet Party twine. And I'm going to make like a little loop-de-doop here, like that. And then I'll loop it like this. And then I'm going to do a second loop-de-doop up here, like that. And another loop-de-doop here. And then we're going to cut that. We're going to cut it with our scissors. He does need to be sure things are done right. And I mean, I like that. I was thinking that the other day as he was just driving me batty with all of the, the stuff. And then I thought, but you know what? That's part of him. It's part of why you love him, because he obsesses about things and he makes things happen. And it's part of why when the well house was on fire the other night, I was scared but not terrified, because he was here and I knew he would fix it, even if it meant he was going to try to go fight it. My God. You should have heard me. I went full fishwife, y'all. Full fishwife. Get out of that shed! Get out of that shed! What are you doing? Okay. It was crazy. It was a crazy night. Okay, I have a piece of woven ribbon here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere that right across there, like so. So I'm going to cut that. And I'm going to use some glue dots to adhere this. Thanks, Denise. Hopefully my mom will like it and it will answer the mail for her. Come on there, glue dot. You could also use seal, but I thought it would be too hard to get it around the ribbon, so I used glue dots. I suppose you could also use liquid glue, but you'd have to wait a while. All right, so I'm just going to put that like so. Like so. And then fix my little loop-de-doos here so they're more loopy and dewy and less weirdo. Like that. Okay, and using the Charming Sentiments stamp set, I stamped Congratulations in Granny Apple Green, and then I cut it with the little matching die. And now I'm going to put some little pieces of Dimensional on there. Some little pieces of Dimensionale. Some Dimensionale. This is a very narrow sentiment, so you have to gonna have to use some pieces. See, some pieces. I know, Bree, right? It's crazy. It's like, dude, There, please, please don't kill yourself. I don't want you to kill yourself because you feel like you have to do all of it, do everything. What's also funny is he's also quite likely to complain about having to do everything himself. Okay, wool, I can't fix all the things. Men, they're funny, and that's why we keep them and love them. Okay, so there we go. It's all dimensionalized, depending on your tense. And then we're going to put this on right here, like that. And it turns out that sentiment is almost exactly the same length as this is wide. So it's kind of perfect, a little bit perfect, a little bit rock and roll. And then I thought, you know, I think some faux sea glass shapes would be good. It's the ocean and there's shapes of the sea glass and stuff. So let's just put some of those on. And I put some of this color on and a little bit of the white ones on. I just put 3 down here in the corner. We have had an adventure, Donna. It has been quite the week, I have got to say. So I'm going to put 3 of those there, and then I thought I'd put a few over here, like a so. And I'm tucking this one, well, I pulled it off of its little glue dot. I'm tucking this one kind of right under the edge of that ribbon right there. There. And there is our card front. Congratulations for a new home. So on the inside, I used the Sunkissed sentiment that says, wishing you a sun-kissed nose and sandy toes. And I am stamping it in Granny Apple Green. Thanks, Shirley. That's right, Rosie. That's right. And he's coming busting in right now. He wants to know if I've made lunch, and he's going to come flying in here. I betcha. Okay, so I have already checked this, and I know that my sticker is straight and my image is straight. So in theory, when I stamp this straight, it ought to be straight. Whew, it was. Okay, something is going right. All right, now I've got the little, these are little shells. Can you see those? Little shells on the sand and a little pelican in the sand. And so what I'm going to do here is in Sahara Sand ink. Thanks, Robbie. Appreciate it. Donna, you're on the sofa with COVID. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. I hope you get feeling better really soon. Really soon. Okay, so I'm just stamping this little image across the front. No, this is the bottom, Mary. Come on, man. Across the bottom of this panel. Like so. And then I got the idea that I would put this little pelican doohah in here. But you got to be kind of careful because it makes some odd overlapping, but it worked out there. Okay. And then I took my Winkostella and I just kind of watercolored these things. Let me show you how I did that. I took a block like this. Did you know that this is watercolor month, watercolor appreciation month, or something like that? So watercoloring is fun. So I just tapped that in the ink pad, and I can pick this up with my Stella brush. I like using the Winkostella as a paintbrush, but you want to do some off because you don't want it to be really dark. You're just giving the idea that there's something on the sand and they kind of look like shells. Okay, so you're not really wanting them to be, here are shells. Not like that. You want them to be, hey, there's some shells here. All gentle like, you know. So you want to keep just the tiniest bit of ink on your Winkostella brush. But the nice thing about using the Winkostella brush, if you've never done it, is you get some color and some shine all in one go. Boom, chakalaka. Like that. And then I thought, what the heck? Let's put some more sea glass. I like the sea glass. So it's going to be very random here because that's how sea glass would be, right? That's how sea glass would be. It's very random. Do some more white ones. So you can tell I've used like every different color of green almost that we have. Well, not really, but pretty close. A lot of colors of green. But I think that's much more like how nature really is, don't you? It's not all matchy-matchy. Okay, now I do have to be sure because nature would never use an even number, and that is an even number. So let's go ahead and put another one of these, and we'll put him over here like that. Okay, now I will put this aside because I'm going to need it in just a half a second, and I'll adhere this to my... Well, Donna, hopefully you'll feel better soon. I'm certain you are quite miserable. Summer is, I mean, it's bad to be sick with COVID anytime, but it's really bad to be sick in the summer. Being hot just makes it so much worse, I think. All right, now we'll put this on the inside of our card. Like so. Okay, and then we'll get our decorations on our envelope. And to do that, yeah, see, lots of shades of green in the real world. Oh, you guys, speaking of gardens, you know, I've got that, I maybe haven't put a picture out, but I've got a garden that I bought a butterfly garden, right? And it came in this big packet, and there were 4 different packets of flowers, and I got them all planted. And the butterflies and the bees love it. They're always all over those flowers. But yesterday, as we were getting ready to leave for the hotel, I saw a little yellow bird fly into the garden, into the flowers. And I watched for a little while, and I thought, oh my gosh, that is a finch. I know that's a finch. So I pulled out my phone, had the camera all ready, but you know, really hard to find a bright yellow bird in a big old stand of flowers. And so Wayne came and got in the car, and as he opened the car door, 4 bright yellow finches flew out of that garden up into the trees. I was like, okay, that is officially my favorite. These are my favorite kinds of flowers right there, officially now, because, okay, I have finches. All right, before I put that away, let me go ahead and stamp the back. I put the little pelican guy on the back, and a couple of little shells around him. Not too many, just a little bit. Remember, your envelope is your first, hey, I'm here, I was made specially for you, to your recipient. So don't forget to make it pretty. You never get a second chance for a first impression, right? Yes, I do like cliches. Hi, my name is Mary, and I speak in cliche. There we go. I speak fluent cliche. When I get done here, I'm going to head to Comcast to replace my TV box, because that also came a cropper with the lightning strike. Which is weird, because it didn't strike the house, and nothing went out. The power didn't go out. The air conditioning kept working. Thank the Lord. I mean, think how much worse it could have been. We could have been without air conditioning here in the summer in Georgia, and that would have been beyond the pale, I say. Just beyond the pale. And if you are waiting for shares, I'm getting them as quick as I can. I will get them out the door just as fast as I can do it. Give him a little brush right there on his little feathers. And that, as they say in some industry somewhere, is that. Pretty little card. Congratulations. Wishing you a sun-kissed nose and sandy toes for their impending move to Florida. And I love it. I kind of love it. I appreciate you guys putting up with my ridiculousness. I'm sorry for all the scatteredness. And hopefully I'll be back in better business on Saturday evening for our video on YouTube. Appreciate it. Have a great rest of your week. Stay cool. And Donna, get better soon. Alrighty. Ta.